Has this happened to you before? You're scrolling through Facebook or whatever platform you choose to scroll on. Suddenly, your friends are posting gratitude pics in front of a home. And your first instinct is, how the can they afford a home? Then you zoom into the photo, Google the address, because you have to know how much that home is worth, and you try to estimate the amount of deposit you have to put down in order to own the home. And then you realize that the deposit you have to put down is gonna take you years to save. And you go on LinkedIn to see what exactly do they do for work. Oh, great. It's some kind of high-paying job like investment banking or software engineering that writes you a check bigger than my forehead. And then what you end up doing is that you check out what other successful people do for work, because who cares about mental health? At the end, you feel exhausted, financially behind, and conclude that you will not be able to do what some of these successful people have done. Okay, so that was a very depressing start of a video. And that's also how I largely felt in my early 20s. Now that I'm in my late 20s, built 7 income streams in 9 months, and somewhat of a warm shot in a hot startup, I finally felt comfortable sharing what I did to stop feeling financially behind or otherwise. So if you want to stop feeling financially behind, here are 3 things I did for myself. And the first thing is, stop comparing who you are today with who someone else is today. I think it's important to note that there is nothing wrong with comparison, because comparison gives us a benchmark, and that benchmark can be used to see whether we are making progress. It's when we compare who we are today with who someone else is and feel miserable because we didn't seemingly achieve as much as they did, that's when it gets really toxic. One of the easiest way I found to stop myself going down this shitty comparison death trap is change my reward system. Instead of punishing myself for how far I am away from my goals, I reward myself for the progress I made compared to yesterday. A really good example would be, I want a YouTube channel with 100,000 subscribers 1 year from now. And on average, it takes 418 videos for an average creator to get 100,000 subscribers. Right now, I've made approximately 200 videos, and for every video that I made, I reward myself with a gaming sesh or a movie night to celebrate the fact that I am one step closer to my goals. When I shifted my reward system, I found myself spending less time feeling miserable and really more time on doing things that will help me make progress. And frankly, I'm just in a much better place mentally. Now, knowing myself really well, what also triggers me down a toxic comparison spiral are also the devil apps, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, because they seem to nowadays surface a lot of the highlight reels of someone else's life. So for my own sanity's sake, as long as I don't see the visual stimuli, I minimize the chances of me going down a just toxic comparison spiral. I have deleted Instagram, TikTok, and some of the other platforms, but I can't get away from Facebook because of work. So I only open up Facebook nowadays if I really need to. You know yourself the best. So the next time you find yourself comparing in a very toxic manner, think about what triggered that feeling and then take action to minimize those triggers. The second thing I did to stop myself feeling financially behind is to change my support network. This sounds absolutely nuts, but honestly, we all have those friends who flex the cool shit they have going on in their life, but they're never quite open to share or teach you how you can get there yourself. I mean, seriously, what do you have to hide? Are you selling some kind of strong cough syrup on the side? Jeez. It's almost like they think that by helping you, they will lose their opportunity to do that cool shit. I personally chose not to hang around that kind of scarcity mindset. And I also think that by sharing your knowledge, teaching someone how to do something so that they can fish for themselves, if you will, you are discovering opportunities where you can improve on your process. If you can help your friends better themselves, and an opportunity to better yourself, what do you have to lose? So over time, I surrounded myself with people who are doing better than me professionally and financially, and are absolutely open in teaching me and sharing with me how they got there themselves. Not only do I not feel financially behind with my support network, I feel incredibly motivated by all of the progress I've been able to make over the last few years. And the most important thing is that my support network have never ever made me feel like I am behind in any way. They're always encouraging me, supporting me, picking me up when times are really, really tough. And to me, Support network is by far one of the most important things and the best things I've ever done to help myself stop feeling behind. The third thing might sound a little bit woo-woo, but telling a different story about myself was one of the best things I could have ever done. Frankly, I've always been pretty insecure about my self-worth, and it's mostly because of the childhood experiences that have never quite left me. This might be the first time I tell that backstory. I spent the first half of my life being educated in China. So yes, I am 100% made in China. The Eastern education system is quite different to the Western education system. Here in Australia, we might complain that for every 15 to 20 children, we get one teacher. In China, the class I was in had more than 40 kids for every one teacher. And sometimes it's not because the kids are stupid, it's because the class is so big that they can't actually see the blackboard. And once you're behind in your material, it's very hard to catch up. I happen to be one of those kids, and I was deemed as intellectually challenged. That baggage have never quite left me, and it created this narrative in my head that I'm not smart, I'm nothing special, and I'm just generally not worthy. Luckily for me, there were people along the way who saw more in me than I could ever see in myself. Slowly and surely, the story I started to tell myself went from I'm not worthy to I just don't have the skills yet and I need to practice intentionally. To be able to tell yourself a different story about yourself, that's why you want a different support network. Because that support network will enable you to reward yourself for the progress you've made today. And the more progress you make, the story you tell yourself about yourself will change for the better. Those were the things I did to stop myself from feeling financially behind or otherwise. Now, if you're on the journey of building multiple income streams, the video right here is a summary of what I've learned building 7 income streams in 9 months. I'm pretty sure that video will save you from multiple burnouts and a couple trips to the doctors. As usual, Otto will do the honors and see you in the next video.